Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video for your final exam for Business 258. Can you believe the semester is now rapidly coming to a close? Let's go ahead and talk about your final exam and what to expect. So your final exam is due May 8th, Sunday, May 8th, and it is open for 2 weeks. Please make note that it is due on Sunday and not Monday. I know we've had a lot of our things due on Monday this for the semester. However, your final is due on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Now, it will close promptly at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, May 8th, regardless of where you are on the exam. You do have 3 hours to take it, but if you don't take it, if you open it up at 11 o'clock, you really only have 59 minutes to take it because it shuts down promptly at 11:59 p.m. I'm going to strongly suggest that you do not wait until the day it is due for you to start on the exam. So many things can go wrong. And if you wait until the day it's due to take the exam and something does go wrong, you are rolling the dice. Since it's open for 2 weeks, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and take it before it is due. You have 2 weeks to take it. Take it before it's due, and then that way you will have no issues. Now, if something does happen on Sunday, you get sick, you're in the hospital, something comes up, that's a chance or that's a risk you're willing to take since you've had 2 weeks to take it. So there will be absolutely no excuses for you not to take it. Let's go ahead and look at what to expect. Now, I might have mentioned this already. If I have, I apologize, but the weekly assessments that you have taken should be preparing you for this final exam. So the final exam is pulling from over 330 questions. You have seen either these questions verbatim or very similar questions in the past, and now they will be showing up on your final exam. And so it shouldn't be news to you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final exam. I'm going to go ahead and open up the final for you. So I actually just opened this up and I closed out, and now it's telling me I can't open it anymore. So it says contact your instructor. Well, I am the instructor. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here. I can't actually open up the one that I wanted to open up because I was just there. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump down to the my test bank and open that up. So give me just a moment. I'm going to pause it and then open up here in just a second. All right. I apologize for the pause. I was able to reset it, and then I got the test back up. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So these are example questions for you. So the first question is: this is considered at the heart of person-focused pay programs. Now, if you have done your homework and you've done your due diligence prior to taking this exam, you'll know that person-focused pay is chapter 5. That's what we talk about in chapter 5. So you can go right to the book and look right in chapter 5. So let's go ahead and see what is at the heart of person-focused pay programs. So we're going to look at 4 choices: data, innovation, management, or training. So I'm going to go ahead and look on page 109. I have an e-text book. I'll put this up here for you as well. Go right here to chapter 5, person focused. And when we start reading about person focused, the very first thing we see, it talks about learning organizations. So obviously, if you're thinking about what's at the heart of person-focused pay, you'll probably find that in the beginning of the chapter, right? Because it opens up the chapter, what it's all about. So if you read this very first paragraph, it talks about how companies strive to becoming learning organizations. Basically, they take a view on learning and development opportunities and how important it is. In addition to that, learning organizations view learning and development in all facets of their business. And in a learning organization, employees are rewarded for learning and are provided enriched jobs, promotions, and compensation. To that end, person-focused compensation programs provide the basis for such rewards that are tightly coupled with strategic training and development activities. Let's take a look at our test. So when you look at that, at the heart. It doesn't actually specifically say it's at the heart. It doesn't say at the heart is, data innovation management or training, but you can see that it has a certain focus. We talked a lot about learning organizations, training, and development. So out of these choices, what do you think the right answer would be? Would it be data, innovation, management, or training? If you said training, you are right. Let's go ahead and look at the next question. So Jack is a sales professional who is employed in an auto dealership. At the beginning of every year, he and his supervisor determine objectives for Jack together. All right, what do you think that sounds like? I'm thinking that sounds a lot like uh, management by objectives, right? Types of performance appraisals. All right, we'll just keep that in mind. So, which are tied to corporate objectives. So, one of the objectives is related to customer satisfaction. So, Jack always remains in contact with customers to whom he sold cars, even after 6 months following the sale. His performance appraisal partially depends on the result of a customer satisfaction survey. So, what kind of performance appraisal system does this auto dealer use? Do they use behavioral, comparison, trait, or goal oriented? Which one do you think they use? Now we can go ahead and look at the different types of performance appraisals. So I'm going to go ahead and look at behavioral. I'll look at the definition of behavioral, compensation, and trait, and goal oriented, and then we'll go ahead and select those together. But I'm going to go ahead and first look at what area, what chapter are we referring to? So performance appraisals. I should know this, right? Let's go ahead and take a look. Designing compensation. And I need my glasses because I can't see very well. Performance appraisal, there it is, chapter 3. I couldn't see that. All right, so chapter 3 talks about performance appraisal. So we would turn to page 65. So I am flipping my book to page 65. And then under that, we should be able to determine the different types of appraisals that the dealer uses. All right, so we'll find that information on page 67. It talks right here about trait systems, comparison systems, behavioral systems, and goal-oriented systems. Those definitions are right there, trait systems, all of that. So what you would do is you would go through and you would find, that is on page 67, and it's chapter 3. Performance appraisal. And so here are the different types of performance appraisals. Here's the trait, comparison, behavioral, goal oriented. So let's go ahead and look at trait system. This asks raters to evaluate each employee's traits or characteristics. So they did not talk about any traits for this particular employee. I think it was Jack. They talked about objectives, right? And not only the objectives, but corporate objectives, and then also the results of customer satisfaction survey. So it is not traits. Let's go ahead and look at where is behavioral. Oh, behavioral is a different order. Okay, that's why. All right, let's look at comparison systems. So we're going to go ahead and look at a comparison system. So a comparison system evaluates an employee's performance against one of another employees. We didn't talk about that at all in that scenario. Let's continue down and look at behavioral. So behavioral systems rate employees on the extent to which they display successful job performance behaviors. Right? In contrast to trait and comparison methods, behavioral methods rate objective job behaviors. So when correctly developed and applied, behavioral models provide results that are relatively free of greater errors. And let's go ahead and look at that last one, goal-oriented or management by objectives. And this could be the most effective performance appraisal technique because the supervisors, they determine those objectives to meet. And so employees determine these together and they're tied to corporate strategies, right? So here are all your clues in that answer talking about how they're tied to corporate objectives. And so this would be goal oriented because the goals are to make customer satisfaction surveys. And it even talks about automobile salespeople uh, fall under this a lot right there. So that is your answer. All right, let's go ahead and look at the last question and then we will wrap up. So the last question is, this group is directly involved in producing goods and delivering services for a company. So is that staff, is that line, is that managers, or is that executives? So what group is directly involved in producing goods and services for a company? Is that the executives? Do they actually, are they involved in producing a good or a service? They manage the business, but they don't necessarily get directly involved in producing a good or a service, right? Is it managers? The same thing could be said for managers. It could be staff or it could be line employees. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that managers and executives are not involved. I think we all know that they're not directly involved. So it either would be a staff or a line employee. So let's look at the definition of line and staff employee. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at the glossary in the back of the book. So here we have the glossary here for you. See if they have line or staff employees. So first, I'm going to go to line to see if there's line. Now, this is the first time I'm looking at this question. So I'm hoping that they have it in the dictionary or the glossary for you. And let's see, line employees are directly involved in producing companies' goods or services. Look at that. Here we are. And so that's how I would answer those questions. Anytime you can use the glossary, that certainly will help you. You could always look it up backwards. So you cross out the ones you don't need to look up, and then you look up a line employee or a staff employee, and then that definition should help you out there. So that is a line employee. All right, so those are 3 examples of questions that you might get on your final. They should be very similar. Again, you have 3 hours and 2 attempts to take it. I wish you the best of luck. I would also suggest you go back and look at your old tests. You can see what your old tests were and look at the results of those, and then use that to study because those questions should be a little bit similar for you on this exam. All right, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for a great semester, everyone, and reach out with any questions. Thank you so much.